All right, let's play a little game, shall we? I'm going to reveal to you 5 figures, and you're going to have to rank them 1 through 5. But the catch is, you don't know which figure's coming next. So let's just say that I throw up this Spider-Man, and you rank it 2 out of 5. That means, over the next 4 figures that I show, only 1 can be better than this Spider-Man. And let's add a little more wrinkle to this puzzle, shall we? You only get to keep the top 2 figures that you select. Ready? Well, here we go. The Scarlet Spider. How about Batman from Batman Forever? How about Darkseid, Anakin Skywalker? General Obi-Wan Kenobi. And finally, the Symbiote Spider-Man. All right, the work is done. Where did you rank these figures? Did any surprise you? Are you disappointed that you ranked one a little bit too high or ranked another one a little bit too low? As I said, you can only keep the top 2 of the 5, and the other 3 are gone. Well, essentially, you just played the literal game of pre-orders when it comes to Hot Toys and other 6-scale collectibles nowadays. We're having releases and reveals at an incredibly alarming rate, and to put it quite bluntly, very few people are able to collect all of them. So you need to make some decisions, and you have to make them fast, because by the time I finish this video, there may be another figure up for pre-order again. And truthfully, there is no room for error. There are going to be some figures you just have to pass on and live with the consequences of missing. And let me tell you, you're gonna be better off for it in the long run. Let's talk about all of it and more coming up next. Well, what's up everyone, and welcome back to the channel for what I rightfully dubbed on Instagram as potentially the most important video I have ever released for collectors. Friends, we're at a crossroads and someone has to be the voice of reason, and I want to look out for those who potentially may not be looking out for themselves. And let me just start off by saying, this is not an attack on anyone, but rather a shepherding, if you will, to keep collectors from going off the deep end. Over the past couple weeks, we have been blasted with some absolutely stunning reveals from Hot Toys and other 6-scale companies. The Summer Showcase, as well as the One InArt special panel at San Diego Comic-Con, you know, everyone would probably say it is good time to be a collector. But is it really? We now have some of the best figures in 1/6 scale form ever revealed, available to us, the consumers, to pre-order and get excited for. But how many of us out there are doing it responsibly? To be completely honest, the idea for this video came to me when I got a Sideshow notification that a charge for my Black and Gold Mark 7 was about to hit and charge my card because it was about to ship. I had to do some serious introspection. I told myself and came to the realization that I don't need another repainted Iron Man in my collection. Not for $500, that is. I consider myself a fairly responsible and a long-time collector, so I don't get swept up in a lot of the FOMO, but with everything that has been coming out recently, I've decided that I'm not going to be able to keep chasing everything that's out there. And if I were to take a guess, there are loads of you watching this video right now that may be feeling the exact same way. So, since we are all in this together, why don't you make sure that you have subscribed to this channel if you haven't already. And of course, give me a like on this video if you like what you're hearing and you want to see some more of it. But the big question, how do we decide on what figures we want to focus on, which figures we want to pass on, and so forth? And here is the groundbreaking answer. I don't know. The truth of the matter is we have no idea anymore just what all these companies has up their sleeves. And apparently sales are so good because they keep putting out plenty of heat and plenty of people keep buying them all. Reddit, Facebook, and other social media sites are flooded this entire week with people shooting their orders, letting us know all that they got it, only for another figure to go up for pre-order the exact next day, and everyone would repeat the process over and over. But here's the crux of the matter. We can't get everything, nor should you. And unfortunately, I think we as a collecting community has cultivated this idea that you do have to have everything, especially these limited drops because, of course, FOMO. I'll talk about the actual financial aspect of this in just a quick second, and please do not miss that part of the video. But let's just, for example, use some simple math. Let's just say that you're a fairly active collector and you set a limit of 10 figures a year to buy for yourself. And we're not talking about price just yet because I think you all know what these cost for the most part, but let's just say 10 figures a year. Recently, on average, Hot Toys has been putting out about 70 figures a year. That works out to over one reveal and release a week. So if you're only getting 10 figures for yourself, how in the world do you choose which ones? Especially when Hot Toys just dropped 9 absolute bangers in 1 week. Now, we've talked about tier-based collecting and so forth, but at the end of the day, you just need to be selecting the figures and characters that represent you and what you like and want. Like the game we played at the beginning of this video, you don't know what is coming next, so the decision that you make for those top spots better be good ones that you know, without a shadow of a doubt, you have to have. Make sure that what you're getting, you want to add to your collection and it actually fits in your collection. If you don't have any Marvel pieces, you should not be lining up in the queue to secure an exclusive Artisan Marvel figure. If you don't collect Star Wars figures, don't be taking the spot of someone that wants a new Scorch figure. Because at the end of the day, if you end up pre-ordering something that you don't want, it is literally taking the spot of something that you do want that will be revealed in the future. If you've set aside X amount of dollars per year as a collector, that money is now tied up in a figure that you don't even really want. And now that you put that deposit down, you'll end up having to lose money and lose a figure to make room for something else that is so silly and irresponsible. And as I told you, I am mad at me for letting myself go down that route. Now, let's simply talk about the financial aspect of all of this. On Instagram, I asked a question for people to submit some of their hottest takes when it comes to collecting, and I got a bunch of them, and I'll be addressing those in a separate video, but this one specifically really stood out to me. It says, way too many people do not have the income to be collecting these figures. Harsh words, right? Before anyone attacks this person or thinks that they're talking out their ass, let's actually look at this objectively. We live in a buy now, worry later culture. Regardless of whatever country you are in, including mine, the countries themselves are in massive amounts of debt. Couple that with an incessant need for instant gratification and the fear of missing out, and well, you have the perfect storm for impressionable people trying to have fun and live outside of their means simply because they see everybody else doing it. But it's not all bad news and gloom. Take this Reddit post I also saw, and this is not the first type that I've seen this week. Truthfully, I think some people are starting to see the writing on the wall. It says, anyone else low-key thankful about not being able to afford these figures right now? I sit back and watch the chaos that has become in the queues. The flood of new figures, which amazingly, but heartbreaking, $400 for an Artisan edition? And the state of both scalpers and resellers weaponizing FOMO, and I'm seriously relieved that I cannot afford figures. The hobby is insane right now, for many reasons. Thoughts? They go on to say, edit for perspective, been collecting Hot Toys and 1/6 since 2008, and I've been through all the ups and downs in the industry. So let's take a look at that. This summer showcase by itself showed us 9 figures that were about to be available and went up for pre-order. Black Widow Artisan was $385, Deadpool $315, the Battle Damage Vader $430, Scorch $270, General Grievous $370, the Spider-Man Tom Holland Artisan, $460. The Mark 42, $490. The Shirtless Wolverine, $310. And although it hasn't officially been released yet, we're going to say probably around $450 for the Joker. Now, when all that is said and done, that'll be $3,500 before taxes and shipping. Mix that in, and you're most likely sitting over $4,000 in pre-orders on their way, and that's just been 1 week of collecting. Let's say you pre-ordered all of them because they are all bangers. That is $350 by itself just for the deposits. But you may say, Kiko, no big deal. That's why I have a payment plan set up. Okay, let's go with that then. To my knowledge, I think that Sideshow offers for a payment plan options of 4 and 6 months. But if I'm wrong on that, let me know. I'm probably not too far off. But once again, let's say you ordered all of them. That's $3,500 that need to be paid out over the span of 4 to 6 months. If you're taking a conservative approach and paying it off in 6 months, that's still $580 plus per month. That is an average car payment. Let's say you only ordered half of them, being responsible. Okay, that's now $1,700 that's owed. And let's say over 6 months, that's almost $300 per month. And that's just for a 2-week burst of figures. After all your other commitments, bills, purchases, do you have $300 left over for action figures? What about everything else that has come out that you pre-ordered and everything else that will come out in the future? Do you see what I'm getting at? Without beating a dead horse here, the average annual salary for an adult in the United States is $62,000. Now, people say to be financially responsible, your rent should be not exceeding 30% of your income. If you were to get all these showcase figures, and that's just 1 week of collecting, that would be roughly 15% of the average American collector's salary. Does that sound like a smart move? As we just said, there's going to be some extremely cool things that will be coming out in the future. So where are the cuts going to be made? That's the hard question that we all need to start being asked, and only you can answer them. Hard choices will have to be made, and there is no room for error, just like the game we played. Well, that's going to do it for us here today, and hopefully you found this video encouraging rather than discouraging. Whenever I make content, I want to make sure it's something that is going to benefit the viewer, since you stopped and gave time out of your day to listen to something that I have to say. Look, I get it. Whenever we're faced with realities and have to make hard decisions that literally could affect our life, that's uncomfortable. But because I care about all of you that watch these, I want to see everyone living their best life, being responsible, and in it for the long haul as a lifelong collector. If you do like this video and you haven't given me a thumbs up yet and feel like I earned it, I would certainly appreciate it, as well as making sure that you are a subscriber. If we're still on speaking terms and you feel like I made a little bit of sense, let me know down in the comments below. Until next time, happy collecting, only get in the queue if you want to, and I'll be seeing you in our